So the next pop-up you see is the avatar editor. We can choose to use one of the MD default avatar. Is gonna be man, woman or child. And you can choose what hair you want, what kind of shoes you want. In late tutorial, I teach you how to bring your own model, they called avatar, so you can make clothes that fit any model you have, not matter how big he is or how many arms he has. To the right is 2D pattern window. This is where you are going to create pattern pieces that will make up your clothes. In the 3D garment window to the left, once you sync and simulate, we will cover that shortly. You will able to see what your clothes look like on your model. Making clothes in Marvel Designer is very similar like tailor make clothes in real life. They draw out patterns and then make cut out pieces of fabric, sew it together and add elastic bands and all kind of cool stuff to make cool looking clothes. The great thing about making clothes in MD is that you don't have to make it right in first time. You can keep on changing your clothes, pulling them, stretching them until you get the perfect looking clothes that you want, and you can continuously look what they look like on your model while changing them in 2D pattern window. It is very easy to make clothes in Marvel Designer once you understand the basics. Now let's see how we can navigate in MD. By holding down middle mouse wheel, we can pan around either in one of window. To zoom in, zoom out, simply roll over your mouse wheel back and forth. And when you are right click here, you can get the menu. And when you get right click on your garment window, you can get different options. And if you hold down the right mouse button and drag your wheel, able to rotate and around your model. To zoom and pan work like same as in 2D pattern window. If you have Apple mouse which doesn't have middle mouse, then you can download free app called Magic Press, which enables you assign middle mouse, although which is not reliable and sometimes doesn't work as expected. Or you can go to settings, user settings, and in view control you can change middle mouse button to left mouse button, or change navigation like Maya. Now you see I am hovering over icons. You see I assign my custom hotkeys to them because I like better than default ones. You can change the hotkeys by going shortcuts and then clicking anywhere and type the key and then to save press close. Now you take a look at this button. It's called the sync button. When you open MD, it's turned off default and is white. White means turned off. And when click it, it turns orange. In order for changes that you do to pattern window to show on your model, in the 3D garment window, you need to turn it on. Now you make any changes you make to your patterns will display in garment window. As you can see, we stretched it and seams are now showing. However, what you see right now is not really what you will look like. Click that white arrow there which is a simulate button in order to see what cloth look like during simulation. Depending upon how strong your computer is, simulation go faster or slower. Now the sync and simulate are turned on same time. Changes you make in pattern excluding changing seams which will make turn off simulation, we can see now in real time in your garment window where you can pull your clothes, you can drag it, tug it. With sync turned off, any changes you make in pattern will not update until you turn sync again. I work sync turned on all the time. Now that's all of that, and I explain you too about the shadow. Whatever model you bring in, you will see the shadow in 2D pattern window. But you if change the pose of your model, there is a few ways to do that. I will explain that later. I will just quickly give pause here. It won't update in 2D pattern window. The shadow is locked to the initial position when the model is brought in. So for example, for making gloves, you need to see the finger, so this pose is not very useful. If you need to make gloves, for instance, you want to import model with rotated wrist or rotate entire model in order to see entire hand shadow in 2D pattern window. What you see behind the model is the grid. It is good to have a big grid when you first drafting your pattern, but as you go more specific you want to have smaller grid in order to make easily move the points to match. The way to change the grid is to right click in anywhere 2D pattern window, click on 2D pattern window properties, open the property editor, click on activate grid, and then you can enter size like 5, 2.5 or 1. 1 is only good when you really zoomed in, otherwise you cannot see it. I set it back to default 10. So to keep this tutorial simple, I gonna just covering these first as tools here, and in the next tutorial I will explain all the rest here. All these initial shapes, swing and texturing comes later on. So the first of all, I going to show you how to create a pattern pieces. To create pattern piece, you will be using one of these three gray shapes: the circle, rectangular or polygon tool. Or this one does is where you click it, it puts segment points like this. You can create any shape you want, and when you click on first point it closes, and there you got your shape. Alright, I gonna delete that, and then gonna use the rectangular to create the basic shape of dress. When you click and drag, you can create rectangular, and I am trying to make symmetrical both sides. When you creating shapes for your pattern, it is better to show line length. It's best to have round number, like 498.72 is not very useful when you want to divide it to make sleeves and other things. It is best to have even full number. So I'm going to switch these tools These two tools are for editing your pattern. The first one is edit pattern, which allows you to edit individual segment points. These round dots are called segment points or lines. You can edit the lines, you can move them or transform points. I will undo that. The second tool is transform pattern, which does let you transform individual lines or the entire pattern. Like here is to rotate, you can rotate it or you can scale it. And this middle is pivot point, so if you move the pivot point up to the top and then you scale or rotate, it will go from there. As you see, if you put it straight, it doesn't rotate correct because its pivot point is not in middle. Now move the middle again and we stretch it and gonna be different. All I just delete that. So even if try to precise and drag the square along the grid lines, it will never be perfect round number. And even if I try to transform it, it will never had a perfect round number. So it is better to have a round number. I will show you the faster way to do this. Click on rectangular tool. I click once and I get the create rectangle pop up. I going to set the width 400 and height to 800. This is extremely useful and very easy. By using this create rectangular pop up to create your or perfect size pattern pieces is very easy. One thing that is very important, if you look here in 3D garment window at this pattern piece, you will see that it has a lighter and darker side. Now this is not the lighting in the scene that's doing it. All the pattern pieces in MD like clothing, fabric pieces in real world have an outside side and inside side. The inside side is always darker and outside side is always brighter. If you look at your own clothes and turn them inside out, you see that inside is different. Fabric, the way it's used, the texture, all the things. So if you want your clothes to work like you want them to and to behave well, when we sew it together and remove errors, then you need to keep outside side out, which is lighter side, and inside side, which is darker side.